'Tis the season of giving, and today we will be giving you the best kind of superlatives. Who NBA teams would be if they were holiday movies? Hello, I'm Anneke Wagner. Alongside me are Michael Landis and Julia Henry, here to answer who is walking in a winter wonderland and who needs a visit from Santa's holiday helpers. Let's head out to the Eastern Conference and the Bucks. Julia, has it been a wonderful life for the Bucks this year with the Damian Lillard acquisition? And what holiday movie are they?
Yeah, Damian Lillard, he's Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. He was kind of shunned from the rest of the NBA, Trailblazers trade request, but he's with the Bucks, and he joins a stellar team with Giannis Antetokounmpo, who's Yukon Cornelius, and Chris Middleton, who's Hermie the Dentist, and this trio has really provided a strong offense for the Bucks. This trio averages 65 points a night, and the Bucks offense averages 121 points a game. So they're three players, half of the offense, every single night, and they've played really strongly. Currently, the Bucks are 14-6 on the season, third in the Eastern Conference, but their abominable snowman is away games. They're 5-5 away and 9-1 at home. So if they can win those games and provide stronger offense on those away games, that'll definitely help them. And their other thing is overall they are third in the league with a defensive rating, but that's slightly misleading because over the last 3 weeks they've ranked 12th in the NBA defensively. And yes, they have gone 9-11 through those games, but 6 out of those 11 teams have been in the bottom 10 in the league offensively. So really, when you're playing 6 bottom 10 offenses, you don't have to have the best defense. But Dame has really led the way and led that pack, and hopefully Rudolph, and he can lead this sleigh to a championship this year.
Yeah, I'm going to take it over to an actually failing team in the Eastern Conference now, the Washington Wizards, and they have had an atrocious season to start. I think a lot of people had very high expectations coming in, but they currently sit at 3-16, which is the second worst, tied for the second worst record in the league. And the movie that I compared it to was The Nightmare Before Christmas. And the way that I saw it was that going into this season, when they made the big trades all around, they gave up Bradley Beal, traded him to the Suns. They got Chris Paul back. Then right after that, immediately, they sent Chris Paul over to the Warriors in return for Jordan Poole and draft picks in hopes that he could become that franchise guy with Kyle Kuzma. But everything has kind of gone wrong this season. They have not been clicking. And as of late, Poole is only averaging just over 17 points per game, and he's shooting 39%, which is the second lowest of his career. Things are not really turning up. He hasn't really been able to show himself as that number one kind of guy. And it kind of shows to me as the Wizards management, it's kind of showing to them that they're kind of like Jack Skellington. They thought that they could kind of make their own decisions. They thought they could change it, but it hasn't really worked out so far. And unfortunately, 2 weeks ago, there's actually a bunch of reports out there that the Wizards did view him as a trade piece and not a franchise guy, which is going to cause a lot of problems. This has been a very tough season overall for them. And while it's still kind of early, the problem for the Wizards is that Poole's contract is 4 years and $128 million, and they are just in the start of that. If they're not really able to move forward with him, they're going to have trouble trading him. But not only that, this is a team that needs to rebuild. I mean, this is supposed to be one of their franchise guys. You can't just keep trading for draft picks. In the NBA, it doesn't exactly work like that. And Kyle Kuzma, he's very solid, averaging 23 points per year. You can trust him, but right now for the Wizards, they're in trouble.
It has been a frosty season for the Wizards, and they will need a holiday miracle if I've ever seen one. But let's swing it over to the Western Conference and talk about the Nuggets. And Michael, what holiday classic have you assigned our defending champions?
Yeah, for me, I assigned the movie Elf to the defending champions, and I think it fits perfectly. I mean, there's only 2 people on this planet that can sling a basketball down the court and sling a snowball like no other, and that is Buddy the Elf and Nikola Jokic. And the way that I see it is that Jokic is very similar in the sense that he kind of brings the sense of happiness and joy with everything that he does, but he also makes the people around him much better. And the way that I see it, the Nuggets are 14-7 right now, third in the Western Conference, and this is all without Jamal Murray. I mean, he's not even playing right now. He's injured, and he is still leading this team with some very solid players all around. but he makes everyone around him. He makes them better players, better people, and he's turning guys that are role players, such as Michael Porter Jr., Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. He's turning Christian Braun, who actually is Bruce Brown's replacement from last season. He's turning them into very solid pieces for this team, and they're making a run again. Like, honestly, when Jamal Murray returns, the way that Jokic has set them up for, they're going to do amazing. But the biggest piece is all around his stats. I mean, nobody's even really talked about it that much. He's probably in the lead for the MVP race again. He's averaging 29 points per game, 12.8 rebounds, 9.8 assists. He is almost averaging a triple-double every game. And he also did just recently move up to 4th all-time on the triple-double list, which is just absurd to kind of go with. But overall, the way that I see it is that he is the main piece, and as I tried to kind of force this together, this little meme of mine, you kind of just see it. You see the similarities, and I think that overall, if he continues to play at this level, it doesn't even matter who's with him. He is going to get the Nuggets back into the finals again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and for the Western Conference, I'm going to take the Dallas Mavericks. I think Luka Doncic is the perfect embodiment of Kevin McAllister. He kind of carries that team, and the Mavericks are always unfortunately left at home. They've made the playoffs 5 out of the last 10 seasons. They won 2 rounds in the 2022 season, and the other 4 times, they haven't won a single round. And Luka carries the team. He's the team leader in points, rebounds, assists, and steals. And he averages about 30 points a game. And then his second in command is Kyrie Irving, a new acquisition, and he averages about 23 points a game. But aside from the 2 of them and Tim Hardaway Jr., who averages a little over 10 points, no one else on that team averages more than 10 points. There's 14 other players who have played this season, and they're all averaging less than 10 points, and that's why they get left at home. And they really need to work on tackling their wet bandits. The other teams in the Western Conference, Luka, Kyrie Irving, they can only create so much mischief themselves. They can only slide so many slippery slopes down the stairs. And they really need to heat up this offense and their offensive production to really get that scalding hot iron onto the heads of those wet bandits. And it was especially noticeable in their last game against the Oklahoma City Thunder. The Mavericks were down by about 24 with 11 minutes left in the game, and they went on a 30-0 run, setting a franchise record with that run. And Luka created 18 points off of assists. He scored 7 of his own, but unfortunately it just wasn't enough for the Mavericks, who lost that game. And they'll really need to come out strong offensively and start playing a team offense if they want to break out of this Western Conference and beat teams like the Clippers and Lakers, who they have lost to in their past 3 playoff series.
Well, so far this season has Jingle Bell rocked, and it's only going to get more exciting from here on. But guys, before we wrap up, I just want to know, what are your favorite holiday movies? And Julia, what is yours?
Yeah, my favorite holiday movie is National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation.
That's a good classic.
For me, it's Home Alone. I just love Joe Pesci, man. He's the funniest guy.
Personally, I'm going to go with a little niche one. Santa Paws 2 is a great film for all ages.
The bolt.
Well, that is all of our time for tonight. From Michael Landis and Julia Henry, I'm Anneke Wagner. Thank you for tuning in, and have a happy holidays.
Hey everybody, thanks for tuning into this edition of Penn State Sports Night.
For more content like this, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, give us a like, and follow our socials down below.
And as always, we are
Penn State Sports Night.